Alright, I should be getting to bed right now, but I guess before I go to bed I'll do a quick review of The Crab with the Golden Claws. Now, this is a movie that is based on The Adventures of Tintin, which is a comic series by someone named Hergé, or however you pronounce it, but yeah, so I've never read the comics, but I have seen a couple versions of it now, including this movie from 1947, I think. So I've also seen the fairly recent Spielberg animated movie. That was pretty good. And then I've also watched the cartoon series from, I believe it was 1990. And that one I quite enjoyed. I thought it was a pretty solid show. But anyway, so right after watching this movie, I immediately watched the pilot episode based on the same story of the 90s cartoon. And the reason for that is because this movie was in French, and I watched a video. I watched it on YouTube, and it said that it had English subtitles, but the subtitles were in Spanish. So yeah, I had to just watch it and try and figure out everything that was going on. I thought I might be able to follow because I did watch, several versions of this story between the cartoon series and the new movie. So yeah, this was, I thought I'd be able to follow this. I had to watch the cartoon again to remember what was going on. So yeah, as I watched this movie, I had trouble figuring out what was going on much of the time. But yeah, here's the basic gist of the story. So it focuses on Tintin, who is a teenage boy who is working for these two bumbling detectives named Thompson and Thompson. Oh, that's their English name, actually. I guess they went by a different name in what I was watching, but yeah, that's what the American version refers to them, at least. Thompson and Thompson, one with a P, the other without. And he has a white dog named Snowy in the American version, but I think it was like Milou in the French version. Yeah, they come across a empty can of crab meat, and they find out that it's connected to some guy who was murdered, and they follow the clues to this ship. I can't for the life of me remember what the name of the ship is. Was it Karabuji or something? So yeah, they go onto the ship, and the ship's first mate, who in the cartoon his name is just Alan. They never give his full name. They never even say whether Alan's his first or last name. It's just Alan. But that's what he's called in the American version, at least. But yeah, they meet the first mate, Alan, and yeah, they meet the first mate, and he kidnaps Tintin, and Tintin finds out that the first mate has been manipulating the captain into basically the captain of the ship is an alcoholic, and the first mate is manipulating his alcoholism and to start a mutiny, and Tintin kind of tries to get Captain Haddock back on his feet. They escape the ship, and then they get attacked by a plane. They climb into the plane, and then they end up crashing in the middle of the desert. And they get rescued by these soldiers that are working out there. And then from there on, they gotta find out about what the first mate is up to. And they find out he's smuggling drugs, and he's working with this guy named Omar Ben Salad. And yeah, they gotta arrest both of these guys, and yeah, it ends with Tintin capturing Alan, aka First Mate Guy. And yeah, I'm kind of also partially talking about the cartoon, because I watched that right after this. But yeah, that's what I follow thanks to watching the cartoon again. So yeah, the movie was it seemed like a pretty faithful adaptation of the comic from what little I know about it, because I mean, I watched the cartoon right after, and it seemed like almost beat for beat, almost every single thing that happened in the movie happened in the cartoon. Almost everything the old movie seemed to take out this bit with this Japanese cop. I think they brought it up in the movie, because I did read in the subtitles something that looked like it said Japanese, but yeah, they might have taken some details out, but besides that, yeah, the old movie was a decent adaptation, I guess. I can't really say there was anything that really stood out, though. It was stop motion animated, and it's pretty decent animation, although yeah, it's definitely no Tale of the Fox. And there were also some silly shots where they just have the characters just kind of standing still. Like there's a part where you see Captain Haddock on the lifeboat, and they show some environments, and they look like real life environments. They probably are. The water is obviously real, so there are shots where, for instance, they show the lifeboat just kind of rocking back and forth in the water, real water, and it's just the figure of Haddock just sitting there doing nothing, not even moving. They did do this once or twice in the new Gulliver movie, but yeah, it was pretty heavily noticeable in this movie. But yeah, the animation for the most part was fine. Otherwise, there's not really a whole lot to say. I mean, the story is taken right out of the comic, so I can't really say that this was this unique story for an animated, or I mean, it is a unique story for an animated movie, but I mean original story. But yeah, I watched, again, for the millionth time, I watched the cartoon from the 90s, right afterward, and, this 45-minute, two-part cartoon episode felt more like a proper movie than this hour-long movie. Yeah, the 90s cartoon, it was short, obviously, but it was, it felt like a proper action adventure series, much like Indiana Jones. Although I will say Tintin's kind of been doing it before Indy entered the archaeology business. It's, but yeah. As for the movie itself, it was okay. I can't really say a whole lot stood out about it. So I would probably give this movie a 6 out of 10. Now, the cartoon, I would probably give, for the pilot episode of the cartoon alone, I would probably give it an 8 out of 10 if it was an actual movie. But yeah, the old movie, 6 is about right. I mean, maybe if I understood the dialogue better, I might consider bringing it up to a 7 or something, but, yeah, that's about all there is to talk about. I would, but yeah, if you're a fan of Tintin or just curious to check something like this out, feel free to check it out, but you might want to be fluent in either French or Spanish if you want to watch the YouTube video that I watched. Yeah. Although, if you really want to check out a good Tintin adaptation, definitely check out the cartoon, because that one, yeah, that one was a lot of fun. I did watch through the whole show a while back when it was on Netflix. But yeah, if you get the chance, feel free to check it out. I think they have the whole show on YouTube now. And yeah, I guess I'll talk about the fairly recent Spielberg movie when I get to it, but I remember enjoying it when I watched it a while back. But yeah, that's about all there is to say, so mash it and smash it, signing off.